Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the KD Adventures, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing some news with you that has just come out of the Disney parks. Now this news is something that I nor anyone was expecting anytime soon. I mean, with all the craziness that's going off in the world at the moment, it's hard to believe that theme parks across the world are having new additions to their parks. We've got new coasters and new rides coming to loads of different theme parks across the world, so this is quite surprising. But in my opinion, this new addition that's coming to Disney, it does have more pros than cons. And that is that the Jungle Cruise over at Magic Kingdom and Disneyland California is going to be getting a brand new revamp. Now before we discuss the latest updates, let's quickly go over the history of the attraction. So the Jungle Cruise is a riverboat ride which can be found at 4 Disney parks across the globe. This boat ride simulates, as the name says, a jungle cruise down the major rivers of Asia, South America and Africa. Not only does this ride feature various animal animatronics and scenery, but on board your boat is a Disney cast member, also known as a skipper, who narrates the ride for you, along with some pretty funny jokes. The Jungle Cruise hasn't always been this way. For a number of years, the attraction was supposed to be a realistic experience, so there was no jokes or humour. But in 1962, that all changed, and I'm glad it did, because in my opinion, the humour has made the ride what it is today. So the recent news to come out of the Disney parks is that they're going to be revamping some of these scenes on the Jungle Cruise. Now, although this may not seem like huge news to some, you do have to keep in mind that the Jungle Cruise was an opening day attraction at Disneyland California, which was 66 years ago. So now that they're revamping some of these scenes, they are changing history, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The main reason behind all these changes and them revamping some of these scenes is because some of the guests find some of these scenes racist. And this isn't the first time that Disney have faced this issue. And it's not just for Disney parks, it's just Disney in general. Just as this news came out about the Jungle Cruise, Disney have also had to block children under 7 years old from watching some of their films on Disney+, such as Peter Pan, The Aristocats and Dumbo. Everyone has their own opinion on this topic. I personally don't think it's a good idea to completely block children from watching these films, but instead learn from them. Now along with this, there's also another Disney attraction that's also being changed for similar reasons. Now if you didn't already know, Splash Mountain at the Disney parks is also getting a redesign, but this isn't just a few changes, this is a complete overlay with a brand new theme. The Princess and the Frog will be taking over Splash Mountain at some point in the future due to similar reasons. This flume ride is currently based on a Disney classic called Song of the South, and although Disney try and make you forget that this film ever existed by removing all traces of it, they still kept Splash Mountain, which features all the characters. I have mixed views on this overlay. I love Splash Mountain and the theme, but I do understand why it's being updated. All I can say is that there is nothing wrong with change when it comes to theme parks. Yes, the ride is a classic, but over time it does become outdated, and other rides across Disney World like Rise of the Resistance and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway prove just how good change is within theme parks. So as much as I'm sad to see Splash Mountain go, I'm just as excited to see what Disney Imagineers can magic up with this new overlay. And that brings me on to the current Jungle Cruise. Now I recently released a video about Christmas overlays on Disney attractions, and I'll let you know my thoughts in that video on the Jungle Cruise. But if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll let you know my thoughts now. So the Jungle Cruise, it is a great attraction. It's a brilliant attraction for the whole family. But personally, I love thrill rides. So when I go to Disney, you'll find me on like Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Expedition Everest, and of course my favourite, the Tower of Terror over at Hollywood Studios. So when I go to Magic Kingdom, the Jungle Cruise is never really on the top of my list because there's so many other things that I prefer. So with the Jungle Cruise, it's not really my thing. But along with that, there's only so many times as well that you can ride Jungle Cruise. I mean, compared to thrill rides, you can ride them over and over again because you get that thrill. But with the Jungle Cruise, it's one of those rides where you can only ride it so many times without getting bored. In my opinion, because there's only so many times you can see the same scenery and hear the same jokes. So I am really excited for this, for these new scenes to be added, because it's going to add something completely different to the ride. Although they're going to be getting rid of some of that history, it's always good to develop and add new additions to these kinds of rides. If we go back a few years, Disney also did this with Pirates of the Caribbean due to other controversial reasons. And also, if you look at other dark rides and rides like the Jungle Cruise outside of Disney, they're always updating and developing. So it is about time that the Jungle Cruise got some updates too. So now that I've given you my thoughts on the current Jungle Cruise, let's look at what's coming to the new and improved Jungle Cruise. Walt Disney Imagineering have said, "At Disney parks, we continue to look for ways to enhance classic attractions and elevate the experience for all of our guests. Today, we're excited to share that we are building on the story of the Jungle Cruise at both Disneyland Park at Disneyland Resort and Magic Kingdom Park at Walt Disney World Resort, to include new adventures that stay true to the experience we know and love, more humour, wildlife and skipper heart, and also reflect and value the diversity of the world around us." And I personally think this is an excellent direction to go in. Rather than Disney changing the whole attraction, they're going to be keeping the heart of a ride, which is the humour. And along with that, we're also going to be seeing some brand new effects and animatronics, and Disney have already shared some of the concept art for some of these new scenes, and they look incredible. From what Imagineers have said so far, it sounds like they are building on the experience, rather than taking anything away from it. And it's also been announced that there will be an animated Skipper figure along with the cast member Skipper, so that will also be very interesting. It's also important to add that these updates have come at a very good time, because the Jungle Cruise movie starring The Rock will be released later this year, but it's not yet been confirmed if the ride will be linked to the film. We'll just have to find out. So overall, it is a little bit sad that they are going to be getting rid of some of these scenes, because it does take away some of that history. But ultimately, these updates are by far more positive than negative, and I for one cannot wait to experience the brand new and improved Jungle Cruise. What are your thoughts on this new revamp? Let me know down in the comments below. There's going to be plenty of new additions coming to Walt Disney World over the next couple of years, because this year is the 50th anniversary. And I've covered some of these new updates on other videos on the channel, so if you want to go check those out, I'll leave links down in the description below. But that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.